Today we have a shocking episode for you. We are going to be shedding some light on your home's electrical system. So to do that, I have my favorite home inspector here, Hans Coleman, with 5281, a step above home inspections.
Hello.
Thanks for being here.
Pleasure.
Yeah. So, electrical, it's a lot going on there, a lot of safety stuff. Maybe we just start with the panel, the electrical panel.
It's the first thing I start with, yeah.
Okay. What are you looking at when you look in the electrical panel?
Labeled electrical breakers, if they're labeled. If they when you pull the dead front cover off, is the one wire, one breaker kind of rule. That's double tapping, that kind of stuff. And of course, just overheating fuses, if there's burn marks, that kind of stuff that we're looking for at all.
Ooh, burn marks. That doesn't...
And during the summertime, bees hate taking those electrical panel covers off, and there's just wasp nests. It's horrible.
Ooh,
Bad time of year, yeah.
I haven't seen one of those.
Yep, we're getting there.
Terrible.
Yeah. When you're not expecting it, yeah, and you've got a whole bunch of bees flying at you, yeah, it sucks.
And I assume that's something you put in the report, right?
You have to, yeah.
Yeah.
Paper.
Critters. So you mentioned double taps.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, in my life, a double tap is related to zombies and making sure you shoot them in the head.
The chest head tap. Yeah.
Yes.
Chest to head.
Double tap.
Double.
Okay, so tell us what that means when we're talking about electrical.
You have one circuit breaker that takes power to, say, the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then we always want one breaker, one wire bringing the power into the bedroom. Double tap is two wires, essentially, and going to two separate areas. So maybe one is going down into that bedroom, maybe the other one is going into master bedroom or something. So two separate areas with the same amount of power is not a good idea. You plug in a vacuum cleaner and it trips the breaker frequently, that you know something's wrong, because you probably have a double tapped wire.
And so
or short.
Or a short.
Or a short, yeah.
So what does that mean when you trip the breaker?
Yeah,
Is that
trip
what it
the
is?
breaker.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me ask again.
Yeah.
So what does that mean when you trip the breaker? What is happening?
It just means a surge of power is going into one particular section of that house, and it's just too much for the breaker to hold. Like maybe you only have a 15 amp breaker, but you're drawing in 20 amps worth of power. That breaker is designed to trip and to stop essentially that power going into that area, so we don't, set the place on fire.
I see. So the tripping is just where the breaker gets too much power than it's meant for, and it just shuts itself off.
That is the easiest way of saying it. Absolutely.
Okay. So we've covered double tap. We've covered tripping the breaker. Maybe GFCIs.
Yeah.
The ground fault circuit interrupter.
Yep. That's ground fault. So that's a GFCI. And then there's another one now. It's called an AFCI, an arc fault circuit interrupter. Those arc faults are pretty much going to be in common areas and bedrooms, where GFCI is going to be more around like water sources, garages, bathrooms, kitchens, and any exterior outlets. As the GFCI arc faults are more of the interior of the home.
Okay, well, I'm just kind of bummed out because I finally got the hang of GFCIs.
Oh,
and now there's an AFCI.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember. I know I did this when I was a kid, but I used to take bobby pins and I used to shove them into electrical outlets. I wanted to see the sparks. I wanted to see the show. It's a show. It's awesome. I get my own private show in my house. Yeah. Well, nowadays you can shove that bobby pin into that electrical outlet and it won't do anything because the power will be immediately stopped, tripped. So essentially, like, kids putting their fingers in electrical outlets kind of not a thing anymore if you have those arc faults.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So is that mostly in newer houses that you're seeing the arc fault?
Yeah, pretty much from like the 97s on. Newer 2000s houses will have that. Yep.
Or if somebody upgrades their electrical.
Yeah, if you upgrade up, if I remember it correctly, the code states that if you do more than 40% of an upgrade, you're required to replace the entire system.
Oh, well, and also this makes me think about the whole aluminum wiring thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was just the 60s up to 74?
No, it's actually just 70s.
Just the
So like
70s.
72, 73 to about 78, 79, aluminum wiring was used in those 70s homes. And then it's notorious to just randomly set an electrical outlet on fire.
Yeah, insurance does not like that. It can be a real problem when we're selling these homes now that are built in the 70s, and you come through with the inspection and tell us that it has aluminum wiring, and now it's like it's a whole thing because a bunch of insurance companies are not insuring homes with aluminum wiring. Some of them still do, obviously, like all of the homes built in the 70s have it. But
We still have
there
aluminum wiring in brand new homes.
well, and there's a fix for it, right? Like the pigtailing.
Sure, there's pigtailing. There's also what we call Copeland connectors. So that way, so the aluminum wiring issue comes from the aluminum and the brass expanding and contracting at different rates. That has a tendency of separating those connectors, and then the arcs and the sparks happen from that. Um, so yeah, the Copeland connectors where there is no contact between copper and aluminum is the best way. Pigtails is just essentially like a wire nut that has a little bit of grease shoved up in there to hopefully stop any arcs and sparks from happening. But we still see burnt out wire nuts with that silicone that's put in there. So the best way is the Copeland connectors to where they're just there's nothing touching each other at all.
Okay, so if you get into a house that has aluminum wiring and you're concerned about electrical fires, pigtailing is an option, but it sounds like it's not the best option. And the best option is to have an electrician come in and install these Copeland connectors. And they're installing those at every outlet and in the breaker box, right?
Yeah, in the breaker box, every electrical outlet, and don't forget about the light switches as well.
And the light switches, yeah. So then does it just have to be at the switches, or does it also have to be like with the light fixtures?
Probably also with the light fixture as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so upgrading everything from aluminum to these Copeland connectors means that your electrician has to crawl around your attic, maybe your crawl space, get behind all of the outlets. Like it's kind of a major job.
Yep.
Um,
But once you do it, should be relatively issue problem free.
are there any other electrical things that might be a surprise to buyers or an issue for buyers that we haven't already talked about?
No, not necessarily.
Okay. How would somebody know? Because, we're talking to buyers and we're talking to homeowners, making sure that they understand their home components and are maintaining them properly. So, how would they know if they have outdated or unsafe wiring? Is that something where they could look at some things themselves, or do they really need to have the professional electrician come in and look at it?
I would say a professional electrician to come in and look at it. John Q. homeowner is not really going to know the difference between a 1970s electrical panel and a 2000 electrical panel. They're just going to look at it and be like, oh, it's great. It looks cool. It looks pretty. And that's probably most homeowners. Depends on how many YouTube episodes you've watched too.
That's one thing I like about working with you is because there are some things that like with a little bit of knowledge, like you can do it yourself or figure it out. But I know I can always trust you to let us know, like, no, you really need to talk to a professional about this.
Absolutely. When it comes to things that can actually hurt you, water heater, furnace, electrical panel, if you don't know when you're not comfortable with it, just don't touch it. Just let somebody that knows what they're doing do it. Also, especially when it comes with gas, you don't want to mess with gas lines. If you don't absolutely 100% know what you're doing, just leave that monster alone. It's a whole monster. Leave it alone.
All right. Let's get into this myth busting
All right.
that we like to do. So Hans, fact or fiction? Older homes are grandfathered in, so the electrical system is fine.
Uh, both. It's factually based because in Colorado we do have grandfathers. How homes are grandfathered, and then but it doesn't mean that your electrical system is in good shape or whatever. So yeah, we're going to let you know if you have an issue or not, but there's some things that we just can't really mess with because current code says this, but maybe you still have 2-wire outlets. I don't know. We don't know.
Oh,
Maybe you have ungrounded outlets and that's only 2 wires. That's a white and the black one. Maybe you don't have that green copper line. Great for older houses. Couldn't do that in a 2000 home.
no. And how important is it? Because I'm thinking about that now since you said it, like um, those electrical outlets that only have the 2 and not the 3, because you see those still sometimes.
Sure.
So they're fine, they work, but they're not grounded.
Yeah, you still should be using surge protectors. The ones the electrical strips that you can plug multiple things in that goes into that. Still should be a surge protected outlet. TVs, computers, laptops, things like that still should be protected from those electrical surges.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, that's good advice. Well, thanks so much for being here, talking to us about all things electrical.
Absolutely my pleasure. I love it.
We've got Hans Coleman, 5281, a step above home inspection. So if you need to inspect anything in your home, call Hans.
If you like this content and want to support the channel, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go.